Hey guys, welcome back to another video here at Full Throttle. Very grateful for you guys tuning in again here today. It's going to be a little bit of a special episode for me. In my opinion, it's something I've been working on for a very long time. Now this next product is something that you guys can still use even if you don't have a garage. As long as you got a concrete driveway, you can still use this product. It's something that is, in my opinion, going to help greatly, not only to produce better footage for you guys when we're working under the car, but it's also going to be safer and quicker to get the vehicle up high. So let's get started. Let's take a look at this product here. So we got the QuickJack BL-7000SLX model. So you got the two boxes, the right and left side jacks, as well as the third box, which contains your accessories as well as your hydraulic pump for these. So these can be again used outside. They're portable. You can be moved around, throw them in the back of your car if your seats fold down, if you have an SUV, a truck, anything like that. Net weight is 96 pounds for each lift, and then about 30-40 pounds for the motor and the accessories. So it's not that bad, not ideal, but it is portable. Plugs right into a normal 120 volt plug. It's very versatile. You can use these things almost anywhere. Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to mainly focus on the setup procedure of the QuickJacks, but I'll bring you along for the ride, get these things set up, and then hopefully we'll get the E320 tested on them and get it lifted up, see how these things work. I'm not quite confident on putting the C63 on them first, in case anything does go wrong. So the E320, again, like I said, the winter beast, will take the first stab at it, just in case something doesn't go quite as planned. But let's get to her. Alright guys, so you saw there the unboxing of the first one. Kind of just give you a quick look. Instruction booklet as well as the right side lift, or the left side lift I guss. We'll get that one opened up, get the both out on the floor, and we'll open up the hydraulic motor, and then we'll take a look, see what's next. Alright guys, we got all our fittings, Teflon tape, get our lines, lifting blocks, Alright guys, so we're going to start off the setup procedure. So I have never done one of these before. I've watched a few different videos, especially the one from QuickJack themselves on YouTube on the setup guide. But they have included a beautiful instruction manual on every step on how to set this up, as well as a checklist to make sure you got all the right tools as well as all the correct components with the kit. So I'm going to follow along with this. We'll try to get this thing set up. It's not too bad. I know there's a couple elbows we need to install on the hydraulic rams, connect up the hydraulic hoses, and then we've got to bleed the system. I think we need to add 40 psi to the air canisters, and then should be pretty well ready to test it out and lift the vehicle. Alright guys, so the first step for the installation of these is installing the 90-degree elbow into the hydraulic ram. So you're going to need a 6mm Allen, and remove transportation plug for that. Set that aside. And you want to insert the O-ring side into the hydraulic ram, and you do not want to use any Teflon tape. That's the biggest thing here. On the side without the O-rings, you're going to want to use the Teflon tape. The side with the rubber O-rings, do not use the Teflon tape. Now you don't want these pointing straight up, you want them at a slight angle. And you can torque it with an 18mm open end wrench. And you should be good. The torque rating is about 11 to 12 foot-pounds. I just snugged it up, and then a quarter turn should be tight enough. Now that we have the 90-degree elbow installed into the hydraulic ram, we need to take the short hose and install a quick disconnect fitting on the male end. Remove the cap and install quick disconnect. You do want to use the Teflon tape on this. And then on the female end, again, remove the protective shipping cap, and this is going to screw on to the 90-degree elbow that we just installed. You're going to want to use Teflon tape on this fitting as well, and you're going to want to torque this to about 25 foot-pounds. Alright, so once you have the quick disconnect connected to the male end of the short hydraulic hose, you're going to want to install the female end onto the 90-degree elbow. Don't forget to use your Teflon tape on this fitting. Now that that's installed, you can route the hose underneath the end of the frame, like that. Alright, so now that we have the short hydraulic hose connected, you're going to want to grab one of the long hydraulic hoses. What we need to do is install both quick disconnect fittings on these. And I'm using a 17mm on the hydraulic hose and a 24 on the quick disconnect fitting. So once you have the two hydraulic hoses all set up there with the new fittings, quick disconnect fittings, what we are going to have to do is add 40 to 50 psi to this air cylinder. So you just have to remove the front cap. It can be done with the a bicycle pump, one of the roadside tire inflators, or again, if you do have an air compressor, you can use. So we're right at 49 psi, so right in the comfort zone in my opinion. So let's move on to the next step. Alright guys, so here is the right side lift frame. So we have the air cylinder pressurized up to 49 psi. We have installed our 90-degree elbow into the hydraulic ram. On the side going into the hydraulic ram does have an O-ring fitting, so you do not use any Teflon tape. On the female side and male side on the coming out, you do have to use the Teflon tape. You need to route the short hydraulic line down underneath the jack, as you can see there, and coming out the back. We've installed the quick disconnect fitting on the short hydraulic line, and you do have to use Teflon tape there. So that is a female fitting with the male quick disconnect end. For the long hydraulic hose, we've installed both female to female quick disconnects, and again, both of those you do have to use the Teflon tape for, and all the quick disconnect fittings are torqued to about 11 foot-pounds. So now we're going to move over to the hydraulic pump. We need to install the quick disconnect fittings on this unit. So both of these do have the rubber O-rings, so neither of these require you to use any Teflon tape. We're going to remove the plugs. And just a quick tip, I do recommend to install the bottom one first, as well as take some of the excess fluid in the port and just wet that O-ring. And then repeat that same process for the top. Alright, now we have both quick disconnect fittings attached to the hydraulic unit. Now we'll move on to filling the unit with fluid. Now there is approved fluids that QuickJack does recommend to use. That way you don't cause any damage to the unit. Very popular one, and it's pretty easily available around the world, is the Valvoline Max Life, the Dex Merc. So it is a multi-vehicle ATF fluid, and this is approved by QuickJack in their units, so you won't have to worry about any damage. So easy to get, relatively cheap, and it's some good fluid. This is the breather valve on the top. You have to remember to always loosen that off about a quarter turn prior to using the unit. And then down below that is your fill cap for the reservoir. So we have to loosen that off. So you want to ensure you have a nice clean funnel. You don't want any contaminants getting inside the unit. And QuickJack recommends it's an approximate about 2.1 liters of fluid you're going to need. And that should be proper level there. That's about a ½ inch below the fill plug. We recommend having a rag handy. Wipe off any of the spill. So now that we have the reservoir filled, you can reinstall the reservoir plug. Alright guys, I'm not doing too bad here, so I didn't film this part, I just did a little bit of a cleanup, got some of the tools out of the way. So we did raise both lifts, the right and left lift on the lifting blocks. So just 3 blocks high on the side where the bleeder valve is on the hydraulic cylinder. And I did the same on that one. So the next step, what we need to do is bleed the hydraulic rams. That way we don't have any air in the system and everything will be running smoothly. So I got both short hoses connected up to the long ones, which run all the way to the hydraulic pump, and the hydraulic pump directly plugged into the outlet. So no extension cord. It does recommend in the bulk not to use an extension cord, but if needed, it does list the specs that they recommend to use. What we're going to do now is press the F button on the hydraulic pump. This is the first time I'm doing it, so I'm pretty excited to see these things actually lift. What I'm going to do is raise these up, bring them back down, kind of cycle them up and down a few times, and then bring them all the way down, and we're going to loosen off the bleeder valve on the end, put a clean rag underneath, and collect that fluid. So you're going to get a lot of air, so you're going to have to do this a few times, and again, make sure you get all that air out. You just want clean fluid coming out. Woo, so we got liftoff. So as you can see, they are a bit jumpy. That's completely normal. That's the air in it that we got to get out. So you can see that's the first locking position right there. So you don't want to go any higher than that. Alright, so now that we've done that a couple times, we're going to go into the bleeder and see if there's any air in the system. As you can see, the right side jack is lifting a bit sooner than the other one, so there's definitely some air in the system. Got quite a bit of air come out there, and then some straight fluid, so we'll close her back up. And we'll do that same thing on this side. Alright guys, so as you saw there, we finished up the bleeding process on the QuickJack. So I checked all the connections, all the fittings, and we got no leaks anywhere, so that's a bonus. I did top off the fluid reservoir in the hydraulic pump. I had to top it off about 1/4 liter to bring it up to the proper height. Again, you want the fluid level to be about ½ inch below the plug on the reservoir. So at this point, guys, I think we're ready to finally lift a car. So feeling very confident though. So far I'm super impressed with the build quality. These things are solid, I'm telling you. I'm just stoked, guys. I don't know if you can tell. I'm super excited to get these up and working. Try this out on the E-Class. So let's stop wasting any time. Let's go grab the car, pull it in, and let's see how these things do.